Hello.
Sam, honey, I gotta go.
Another 4.4 million people filed first-time claims for unemployment insurance last week. Four stimulus plans.
Hello. Hi, Jack.
Hi, Pam.
Is my video on?
No.
No? Okay.
Okay.
They're
No, here,
on.
this will make your picture show up.
All right. Is that on now?
Yes.
Video? Okay. Thank you. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Pam. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Good.
Felicia's at the beach.
Yeah, I see that. Looks nice there.
Is the volume not turned up on your end or is it me? I can't hear very well.
I hear you loud and clear.
That's you, Felicia.
Eh?
There, Jeff. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Corey.
Hey,
I
guys.
might have to dial in on a different apparatus.
There's Mr. O'Leary. I think he was.
Yeah, it was saying I was the same as the host. Use
I
some
can't.
signature or whatever, and then I don't know. It's good now.
Hey, Jack.
Yeah.
Were
Hello.
you Jack O'Leary? Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Were you in and out on the same day?
Pam, I was on the table at 7:30, and I was sitting in my kitchen.
That is amazing.
I told you I was started talking to them about budgets and copy. They threw me out.
Well, that could do it.
They were really good over there because I know most of them, you know. So
What hospital were you in?
in Bon Secours, that's where I was working.
Oh, okay.
So I really thought I pulled a muscle, but it wasn't a muscle.
Wow.
Oh, it got worse and worse and worse in a hurry. So I knew everybody but the surgeon was very good. So they put me in right away. They took great care of me. And then they let me go home. James came by, James Campistros, he came by to check on me. Amy Pacherkin came by, a bunch of people came by. Cindy Iannella, she was my operating room nurse. Kids gone through the district, you know. So I was great. I was in good hands.
All right. I think
Nice
we
to
have
hear.
everybody. So we're going to just jump into this and get it started. I see everybody at their computer, and it looks like everybody's paying attention, so we should be good. All right. So first, I want to open up with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
Pledge
to the
allegiance to
flag
the of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under
God, indivisible, with
with
liberty
and
and
justice.
justice for all.
All right. Always a little painful through Zoom, but we always persevere. Now I'll ask Julie to call the roll.
Dawn Bouquet,
Here.
Ryan Carso,
Here.
Jessica Decker,
Here.
Jack Fisher. And there somewhere.
Yeah, he's here.
Corey Homer,
Here.
Pam Lutfi,
Here.
Jack O'Leary,
Here.
Felicia Sheehan,
She's muted.
there, okay, and Rosemary Walsh.
All right. Now, may I have a volunteer to read the mission statement, please?
Oops.
I'll do it.
Thanks, Jess.
Delaware Valley School District, in partnership with our community, stands committed to maximizing student potential, fostering lifelong learning, and promoting responsible citizenship.
Thank you, Jess. Now, may I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. We'll move on to presentations, which we have none. So we'll move on to the motion to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting held on March 19th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? First, I want to open up with the, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. Now I'll move on to our student representative reports, and I believe we have John and Mia on the call tonight.
Excellent.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hi.
So I just want to start off by saying thank you for everyone who's been working hard. I know right now it's a very difficult time for everyone involved. Me and John, were both really bummed that our senior years got cut short, but there's hope for us in the future. We both are going to college, so there's some good things to look forward to.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to the future, and in regards to how us seniors are feeling about our senior year, we're as Mia said, we're bummed. We're upset that we didn't get to enjoy everything about it. But we're very excited for graduation and for prom and the possibilities of those happening. So we thank you very much for doing the best you can to keep those for us. As for online schooling, most of us are getting by. I remember I was talking to a couple of my friends today to see how they felt about it as well. The transition from a traditional classroom to online schooling is difficult, and there are unpreventable things that fall in the path of it. And we thank you for doing everything you can. The teachers have been great with working towards trying to reach a fluency with the new system. Most of my classmates in conversation with me have expressed their concerns about or possibly pushing for a pass or fail opportunity or schooling form to help with this transition of leniency, as a lot of the seniors are working towards graduation and preparing for the future. So that's all I have.
Yeah, I've been talking to some students, and the transition is a hard one when you're going from classes, talking with your students and peers every day, to having to do all your work by yourself. Most of the time, it's hard for these students to find motivation, especially as seniors with senioritis, but I've been handling it well. It's been nice. I know some of us are struggling in the English department, but that's just due to nature. It's very hard when you used to be on these like lecture-based classes, so now you have to be analyzing your own documents and stuff. So that's one complaint I've been getting. There's also sometimes I feel a lot of students are expressing to me that their electives are not going well for them. It's very hard to do a ceramics class at home because you don't have ceramics tools. So some of that, they've been complaining that it's kind of just an annoyance to them to do some electives at home. And then also some students were expressing to me that they would love to see the end of the year banquets somehow come to play. I know there's a sports banquet, academic, and I know some students have already gotten recognized for those awards, but they would love to see some type of recognition, whether it's on the school website or they were emailed certificates or something. So I don't know. That would be nice to have some closure at the end of the year with that. But that's what I've been hearing from my students, my peers.
Thank you.
I mean, we definitely appreciate your flexibility in talking with your peers and bringing this information back. And I know Dr. Bell and his team are working hard at trying to figure out a lot of these things. And, just so you know, and I know you know this, but we're all heartbroken for you. Without our senior years in high school, luckily you'll have college as well, so you'll have another shot at it. But it really is heartbreaking, and we all feel for you there. Anybody else, any comments?
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you for all you've been doing.
I know Mia had picked her school, but last time we talked, John had not yet. John, did you come to a final decision yet?
I have officially a couple hours ago. I emailed the admissions of. I'm officially committing as a history and environmental science major at College of William and Mary.
All right, you got in, John, huh?
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations, brother. That's
Thank you
great.
very much.
Very nice.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I knew John had told me he was waiting for that letter of acceptance, and I'm nervous about that. You know, it's great that he's going there. Very proud of him. Thanks.
And Mia, you're going to Kenyon?
Yes, I am. I'm planning on studying political science with like a major minor with environmental science too.
Wow, that's fantastic. Both of you have very enormous things to look forward to, and we look forward to hearing about all your achievements in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you both. And you can stay on or leave, same as if you were there physically. So it's up to you. All right, thank you.
Have a good night, guys.
I'm gonna stay.
Thank you.
All right, I'll move on to the administrative reports and attendance reports, which there are none this month. And I'll move to the financial reports. Are there any comments on the financial reports? All right, the superintendent's report. They're done. Dr. Bell, you're on mute.
I'm here. Thank you. Just a couple of things to update you on. First off, we pulled the assistant principal appointment since there were some questions about the position. So we'll put that on the agenda for the work session to talk about for the May work session. Second thing is we found out that we were recognized for the best communities in music education again. We just got that notification. So that's 6 or 7 years now in a row. So we're thrilled about that. So that news will go out soon on social media. We also found out today that Dingman Delaware Middle School English teacher Carmel Kratz, who used to be at DV Middle School for many years before she switched to Dingdale Middle School, she was recognized as English Teacher of the Year by East Stroudsburg's Kappa Delta Pi, which is the International Honor Society in Education. And actually, she was nominated by a former DV student whom she had in middle school, who's now a senior English education major at ESU. And so one of Carmel's old students from middle school nominated her and she won. So that's really great. We continue to work every day with the budget, you know, just kind of squeezing, doing everything we can since we have such a huge lift between now and the May work session when we're going to present to you guys. Make sure I don't lose anything. As the kids had said, the online learning continues. We've decided that all Fridays in May are going to be catch-up days. So we'll go 4 days of new instruction and then Fridays will be catch-up days. I know the kids will like that, but the parents will probably like it even more. One of the interesting things too, we had a conversation the other day, we had a Zoom meeting with Cabinet, is without all the test preparation and the review coming up for the test, and then all the actual administration of the test, which usually take 2 weeks for PSSAs and 2 weeks of Keystones, we actually think we're going to be ahead of schedule by the time we get to the end of May, believe it or not, which will give us some flexibility to do some catch up, remediation, enrichment, and review at the end, because we're going to be able to accomplish the curriculum. Those of us who have been around a long time, we remember back when we used to have a spring where we could teach, but this is the first spring since about 2001 or 2002 where we actually got to teach the whole time, albeit in a strange format, because normally we're doing testing up to our eyeballs. So that's certainly good news. And then there'll be a new academic update going out next week, just like I did one this week to everybody, letting everybody know what's going on. There'll be a new one early next week. The only reason I haven't put it out yet is we're waiting to get to hear some feedback back from the teachers about a couple questions we had that the union is gathering all the results and going to get them to me and Peg on Monday. So we'll have a new update going out next week. We'll really lay out the plan for the rest of the year. What days will be live new instruction, what days will be remediation, review, and enrichment, when do the kids have to get all their back work caught up by, when do the teachers have to turn their grades in, all that logistical stuff we're mapping that out and we'll be putting that out next week for everybody. Last week I told you that Peg worked really hard on the grant. PDE came up with $5 million for a continuity of instruction grant to try to help schools with their rollout of online instruction. They had $5 million. And we didn't get any. The only school in IU 20 that got it was Wilson, got 15,000. They're one of the smaller districts down by Easton. Of the $5 million, they gave 2 million of it away to 4 districts. They gave $500,000 to Philly, $500,000 to Scranton, $500,000 to Reading, and $500,000 to Upper Darby. So there was 40% of the money gone.
Yeah.
And the other 496 districts had to fight over the last 3 million. And so we didn't luck out with that. Last week, one of the members had asked about meals. And last week we had 2 meal distribution days because we were off for Easter Monday. We just had distributions on Tuesday and Thursday. But between the 3 campuses, 4,618 meals were given out, 4,618. It's over 2,400 at Dingman's, a little over 1,300 at DV, and over 800 at Shahola. This week should be even bigger because now we're on our regular Monday, Wednesday, Friday routine for the whole month of, all the way from now until Memorial Day. We'll be able to do Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. So those numbers will even go up. And
What kind of things are in those bags?
it's
Like a sandwich, like a turkey sandwich with cheese, fruit, a bag of baked chips, milk, and then the breakfast was like a breakfast lunchable, all shoot and match, and then you have also milk with that.
So everybody gets 2 cartons of milk and 2 meals, a breakfast and a lunch, and they're getting 2 days in a row. So one day it might be ham and cheese, another day turkey and cheese, but they're pretty nice size hoagie sandwiches.
So when they're picking them up, they're getting 2 lunches and 2 breakfasts.
Yeah.
Correct.
And it's good on Friday. On Friday, they just get 2 and 2 again, and they have to fend for themselves on Sunday, or?
yeah, because theoretically, we're not supposed to give them anything on Saturday
Right,
and Sunday,
right.
but they are getting it, yeah.
Good, nice.
Excellent.
Thank you, John. I really appreciate the effort. And I know that you have administrators who are even going out to the homes to help people who are in need of meals for their children. So I especially want to thank those people also.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that, Pam. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
20-some families who don't have vehicles or aren't able to get here for whatever reason. So our bus drivers are going out. I think there's almost 40 kids in those 20-some families that are getting it delivered just because they're not capable of coming to get it. So we're glad to help them out. And the bus drivers are thrilled to help out. They really are. Just like so many of our IAs are volunteering their time at the schools to be the ones who are giving the food to the people in the cars. We keep the cafeteria people in the cafeteria away from the public just so that we don't expose them to anything, since they're the ones prepping meals. They make the meals, they bag them, and then our IAs and our other volunteers are the ones who are outside in the bus lane. So it's a lot of people have really stepped up. So it's a great thing to do for the community.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, and then the 8th and final thing on my list is just we're in interview season. All the jobs that have been posted, the postings came down for the original batch of jobs on Monday, which was April 20th. They've been posted for about a month and a half, and we started doing the interviews. In fact, we finished some of the interviews for some of the teachers. So we're continue to scrutinize every position, but the ones that we know we need, they'll all be on the May agenda. So we can lock those people in before someone else gets their hands on them. So, and that's everything I have.
Which positions do you anticipate filling in May?
Special ed.
Yeah, a couple special ed, a social studies, 2 English, a math, 1 or 2 family and consumer science. They're the ones we're not cutting. We have positions from retirement that we are actually cutting. But again, we're still working the numbers. We had a late resignation for phys ed. So we're trying to see if we need that or not, or can we get by with a half a phys ed teacher? And so we're working all the numbers, trying to squeeze it from every corner to see what we can do, because we have such a huge gap to try to close in our budget now. So that's everything, Corey.
And I just want to make sure that you pass our thanks on to Justin. I mean, I know it's a lot changing instruction online, as we know at the college too, but also changing your meal preps and changing that you get so used to a routine and process, and then to have it uprooted all of a sudden, so make sure to thank him for his flexibility.
Sure.
And on the grant too, I just say, that's another example of we kind of get hurt by the state grants because we're pretty well positioned and we've done a great job in, solidifying some of these resources and being smart with the dollars we're spending over the last, 20 or some years. And we just get hurt by these larger grants because other districts aren't, that way. So it is what it is. All right. Now I will move on to the treasurer's report. May I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there any discussion on those? I apologize. Nope. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. May I have a motion to accept the bills for payment, which include the general fund, cafeteria fund, internal service fund, and capital reserve fund?
Motion.
Okay, who was that, Julie?
You have a motion and second, Julie? All right. Is there any discussion on those? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. May I have a motion to approve the personnel items, including resignations, requests to retract child rearing leaves, requests for extension of bereavement, change of status, and change of salary, with retirements accepted with regret?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Did you say change of status was coming off? Just one? Okay. Okay.
You good? All those in favor say aye.
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 Is there any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. May I have a motion for the approval of the extension of the agreement between the Delaware Valley School District and the Delaware Valley Education Association through August 31st, 2021?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 To the approval for tenure.
You missed the first one, Corey.
Is there another one? All right, can we finish this one? I'll go back up. Sorry.
Unless I missed it on your sheet there.
No, you got it. I'm still getting the scrolling and everything. I've been on Zoom for about 40 hours this week, so. All those in favor on the extension of the contract, say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. Now I'll jump back up to A. Sorry, Dana Niamaka. May I have a motion for the approval of tenure for Dana Niamaka?
Motion by Pam.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. If you could pass along our congratulations to her. It's great to keep going through that process with instructors.
Will do.
Now, may I have a motion for the approval of the 2020-2021 paper supply bid through the Northampton Monroe Pike County Joint Purchasing Board as per the attachment?
Motion.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Ryan, this was your chance for the Dunder Mifflin joke.
It's always my chance. I'm glad you remember it. Everyone knows the joke is there, so I don't have to make it. It's assumed.
Hearing no objections, the motion carries. May I have a motion for the approval of the doors upgrade base bid as per the attachment?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. May I have a motion for the approval to reject the 2020 summer capital improvement project bids?
So
Motion.
moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. May I have a motion for the approval of the project with the support and coordination of Pike County Light and Power to change the electrical service from secondary to primary service on the DVHS DVMS campus on the Delaware Valley Elementary School campus?
So moved. Jack O'Leary.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. May I have a motion for the approval to nominate Pam Lutfi to serve as the Colonial Intermediate Unit 20 board member for a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. I will say congratulations and thank you, Pam.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
thank you.
Welcome.
May I have a motion for the approval of Plan Con K for the Delaware Valley School District's 2020 bonds for submission to the Pennsylvania Department?
So moved by Pam.
Jack.
Did you go swimming, Felicia?
What is
The
that?
phone fell.
What is that?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Rosemary just asked about Plan
Oh.
Con K.
Sorry.
When you have a bond issue for which you get reimbursed for, which we do when we built the elementary school, anytime you refinance that, it's called Plan Con K. You got to let the PDE, after a bunch of documents get filled out by myself and our financial advisor, needs to be submitted. So when we do future bond issues, you may see this again. So sorry for the late notice, but it came to me yesterday and I didn't want to wait a month. So I wanted to get it on.
Thanks, Bill.
Yep, thank you.
Are you good, Rosemary?
Yep, I'm good. Thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. May I have a motion for the approval of board policies listed 1 through 2, which is 006 meetings and 626 federal fiscal compliance?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
I have another question, Corey.
Oh, sorry.
Under meetings, I wasn't able to see any changes when I was looking at it at home. Did we add anything about doing Zoom meetings, or is that not in this? Oh, okay, that you can do it, a phone call in or something. Okay, okay. I didn't know if because of all this, we had to do anything to add anything. Okay, thank you.
No, I mean, when we looked at it, when we had that discussion, I think the language was kind of in there all along. So we're just kind of using the language now.
Yeah, there was just one line added.
Okay, thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. I'll move on to other business. First from the board.
Corey?
Who
Yeah.
else is-
Okay.
Are there any questions out there?
I have a comment. At last evening's IU20 board meeting, the IU budget was unanimously approved by all 13 school districts. And Dr. Wolfel asked us all to be sure to thank all the school board members for their support. And he also asked that we would let our board know that the cooperation from the district superintendents has just been par excellent. He's so impressed with their ideas and their cooperation. And like you, they've been having many, many meetings also. So I just wanted to pass that on.
Excellent. Thanks, Pam.
And he's done a great job too, Pam. He's the one that coordinates our meetings. We meet every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon. And just to make sure that we're on the same page, that make sure no district is out there doing something totally different. That might get them in a heap of trouble because they're so far from the pack. So it's a good way to kick things around and say, what are you doing? Who do you consider essential? Who are non-essential employees? When are you bringing them in? How often? How many hours? Are you using social distancing? All those different crazy things that are all brand new to us. It's great to have
Right.
that group coordinated by Chris Woeful so that we can all get on the same page.
Nice. Thank you.
Anybody else, any comments?
Yeah, this is Dawn. I just have one question regarding parent trainings that usually happen in April and May. Has there been any discussion about those, whether we're going to try and do those on Zoom? I mean, I personally would be interested to see if more people attend on Zoom than actually come out in person.
I can just speak to one that we're going to try to schedule on literacy. We were going to try to do that in coordination with CDD, and it's primarily geared toward elementary literacy. I'm not quite sure. There was a presenter that was supposed to come into the school buildings and work with our pre-K count students, but that had to be canceled. So we're trying to see that person's availability in order to do that late afternoon or evenings when our kids aren't expected to be on the computers learning. That's just one. I don't know if that person's going to be available to do that, Dawn, but we are looking into it.
Okay, thank you.
I know this is off the wall now, but what about kindergarten registration?
Kindergarten registration, we're doing everything through mail right now. We're just going to forego the screenings because there's no way to really get that done, but we just have to make sure we have all the appropriate paperwork. And the one holdup will be seeing the original birth certificate. So we will be working on that with parents, and we'll give some adjustments for that once we get enrolled in physically or in the buildings. But as long as we have copies and we can verify the student's age and enrollment and immunizations, it shouldn't be a problem. So we may come back to you just to have kind of a waiver on that stipulation in our registration requirements. That might be just something we want to waive temporarily or give a 30 or 60-day leeway for that.
What do the numbers look like for kindergarten?
It's
No idea.
it's really loose right now. We estimate the same enrollment as this current year, but it's tough to tell. Normally, we've moved it back to May for most of the schools, but now with just getting the paperwork in, it's really tough. And the buildings handle that directly, so we'll be pushing out social media and putting it up on the board, both for preschool as well as for kindergarten to get those enrollments.
Are there secretaries or somebody in all the buildings every day or no?
No. But they do go in and check mail and do those kinds of things. So they are keeping up with it, but.
Okay.
No secretaries, no custodians,
no one.
Anybody else? Any comments?
Yeah,
I was gonna ask if Dylan could look on the chat board for us too. While someone wants to speak, go ahead, but then we can look at the chat board, see if there's anything.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I'd just like to say what we all said at the workshop meeting towards, and I don't know if any of our educators are watching tonight, but I know certainly I can speak on behalf of everybody on this board that we're very appreciative of what they've done. I'm amazed at what they've been able to do in such a short amount of time, and we're very grateful, and we're cognizant of what they're doing, and they're appreciated by each and every one of us. And I am very amazed that we got this system up and running. And once again, DV is standing head and shoulders above everybody else. So I'd just like to pass on that thank you to them.
I was talking to a friend of mine whose students are up in Wallenpaupack, and she said they've been doing review and enrichment for like the whole month of April. And she was impressed with the way we're handling it and wished that Wallenpaupack had done the same thing.
I'd say what's kind of nice too, and on your point, Jack, I mean, the key word here is creativity that we're seeing teachers, and, you know, the learning outcomes are what they are, but how you teach those learning outcomes is really so unique, which is nice. So Thanks for that, Jack. Are there any questions, Dylan?
There was only one question from the public, and Dylan, our techie, was glad enough to answer it for us.
Thank you, Dylan.
All right. Thanks, Dylan. All right. With no other business, we'll move on to the announcements, which is the meeting schedule. And due to these, due to the virus and the outbreak and things along those lines, these meetings will be held on this platform. I'd say right now, indefinitely. I'm not going to put a date out there because we have no idea when this whole thing will get better. And so it'll be held through Zoom for now on until such a time where we can guarantee safety. So the work session will be held May 7th through this platform at 7 o'clock. And the regular board meeting will be held May 14th, 2020 at 7 o'clock. All right. Before I ask for the adjournment, I just say that Jess, you look so cozy right now in front of that fireplace. So.
Nice fireplace going, huh?
It's only because we don't have our heat on anymore and it's snowing up in Shahola. Shocker. So if I don't have a fire going, forget it. We're all like, I'm going to be freezing over here. So.
You're freezing all the time anyway.
Well, that's very true. But without the heat on, I'd really be cold.
All right. May I have a motion and adjourn the meeting?
Don't move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Corey,
Thank you.
you put
Good
the-
night, everyone.
you put the
you.
Zoom tonight.
What's that? What's up?
You guys put the Zoom in the Zoom tonight. This was a good year.
Yes. Stay safe, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you.